Hi there, welcome back. It's Karen here, and today we're going to be working on the Literary Ladies journal. This is my super lacy, very fabric based journal that I'm really enjoying working on as a complete contrast to the other journal that I'm also working on and enjoying. So this one I have since last week. I'm trying to remember what we did, but one thing I do know I said I was going to do between last week and this week was to sew in my signatures, which I've done. So here they are. They're all sewn in, just the two of them. I think up until I was about to sew them in, I had decided to put this signature at the second and the other signature at the front, wherever that is. Trying to find it. Yes, this was going to be my first signature and this was going to be my second one, but when I put it in the journal, somehow it just felt that this needed to be at the front. I don't know what it was, something about her made me feel she needed to be at the front. So she is there, and then our second one is there, and I've left quite a good gap between the two to give us room to add things, lots of pockets and lace and just for general decorating. A lot of decorating still to be done in here, and just because I want this to be a super lacy, super tactile journal. So I think I've been thinking about my closure. I think what I'm possibly going to do, I really want to use one of my these little buttons that I bought at the retreat. I just pulled one out of the packet just as an example, because I found what I'd really like to do is have a button here, because I think that looks really pretty on there. Sew that on, and then somehow have some kind of this is some seam binding ribbony. It's more like a ribbon really, kind of attached here, and wrap that around. Going to be either will be that, or I've got some pink sari silk which may or may not be long enough. So I've certainly got plenty of this, and I've not really used it much before. I've had it quite a long while, but hardly ever remember to use it. So I thought somehow we could wrap that around and do that into a bow, something like that, but kind of attached here with this button, to have the button underneath, and somehow sew it on there, something like that. That's the idea. That's what I'm going to work towards. Possibly do that next time when I fully thought it through, and obviously I'll have to sew the ribbon on. I'll probably do all the sewing parts off camera anyway, but that is what I'm thinking for my closure. So let's put those back over there. So for today, so that we can do more decorating, because we need lots more decorating, I am going to make, well, I have started making, and I thought we'd just finish off. I've got the basis made of a snippet roll. I love to make snippet rolls, love to put them in my journal, especially this kind of journal. I felt it really needed it for just a few spots down the side of the page, or somewhere there's some on pockets and things like that. So I'm just going to pop this back in its little folder. I'm trying to keep it covered and keep it clean. Oh, the other thing I did, I was going to put a piece of this. Do you remember I had pinned it on, a piece of this fabric? I'd pinned here thinking I might sew it on. And then I remembered I had this little flower that I bought in a box of mixed laces from Rachel and Bella at the retreat. And I thought that went beautifully on there. So that's what I've used just to finish off this little corner, and I'm really pleased with that. I think it looks really pretty there. So I've decided to go with that instead, but the flower will pop up. I have done something with it, and I will show you in a moment. So I'm just going to pop this back in here and keep it nice and safe out of the way. So as well as all I've done is glue some bits of scraps of fabric to some white strips of cotton, and just quite a nice long one that can be, I don't even know if I'll use it all, but I'm going to cover it in lace, and it's one of those things that will go into most journals really. or at least a lot of the journals that I make. So I thought, well, whatever I don't use, I shall just hang on to for another occasion. I also started putting together a few clusters. And there we are. There's that piece of fabric that I told you about. I have actually sewn it on here. It hasn't sewn completely flat, but I'm not going to worry about that. And used some really pretty lace behind it. Just on some, I had some wider pieces of this white cotton, so I snipped them into about 3 pieces and thought, well, I'll just make a few clusters. So they're not quite finished, but they both, that one and this one I did sew around. Initially, I think for the first couple that I did, one of which I think I've now lost. Where'd the other one go? Oh, here it is. So I did a couple and stapled them together. And then I thought, well, no, I don't really want them stapled. So I sewed the other 2 that I've done. And they just need something to finish them off, some kind of image or something on there to finish them off. So I've got these 4, and I will just add something when I use them in case they don't end up going in this journal. Then I remembered I made a load of clusters a long time ago. I don't know if you remember when Tina at Shabba Dabba Doodah did her cluster books. I had made a fabric clusters. I haven't really filled it, but I had a load in here in different colour combinations, and I've always forgotten about them. I've got loads of them. So I pulled a few of those out that I thought would go. So I think I made that on camera, so if I did, I'll try and remember to link that video below. It was a long time ago. So I've got another little handful of clusters as well, which I hope would, well, certainly some of them will go in the journal. So I've got these. So I was picking out the pinks and the blues, as is in the journal. So this has got that probably will go. There's a bit of this colour in it. Yeah, I think they'll all go. I think I'll really like this one. I think it's really pretty. Loving that blue one. Right, so I've got a little handful of these, and these can all be used to decorate different parts of, or little pockets and things. Page turners, tabs, anything like that. I don't really know what I need in there, but I thought I'd just prepare a few things and see where it got us. So this is what I'm going to work on first, because this is it's the only thing I need to finish really, apart from the handful of clusters that I made. So this has not been sewn, these have just been glued so far, because I thought I'd sew them once I'd added some lace. And I have got a pile of lace and bits of trim just sitting here next to me. So I thought we'd just sit and have some fun gluing on some bits of lace. And just just having a bit of fun with it. Some bits I'll use the temptation is to do it this way, but really I'm going to want a lot of them to be vertical, so I'm going to try and do them that way so they're pretty much orientated that way. So yes, as I was saying, I'm going to use the glue stick for some, certainly this thinner lace. I will use glue stick, and then I'll use some more heavy duty wet glue when I need it. So I'm just going to start with, I make these things quite a lot. I'm sure you've all seen me do it before, so feel free to fast forward while I'm just gluing these pieces on in a kind of haphazard fashion as I lay my hand on them. I just grab a bit, pop it on. I think this I cut up a whole bunch of these pieces of lace and trims to take on my retreat, and I thought, well, I'll just keep them handy. I picked them all out to go with this kit anyway, which I was going to work on because I did that little journal which still hasn't been finished. So the laces should all go with this journal. I tear a bit. Yeah, quite like the torn look, but I'm not very good at actually tearing lace. It's possibly a bit too big anyway. Put that bit on there. So I hope you're all well. And yeah, starting to think, well, we're all starting to think about autumn. Autumn's on its way. Actually, today, the day you see this video, the day this is going to be scheduled to upload, is actually going to be my birthday. And we're going to be spending some of the day travelling because we've got a weekend away with our daughter, our younger daughter, and her fat little family, so my grandson. Yeah, we're going to be, I think I need a thicker one, a heavier duty glue for this. Yeah, we just booked a weekend away, a long weekend, so Friday to Tuesday, I think, 4 nights with them. We're going in a cottage and we're going to Suffolk, quite near the coast of Suffolk, because it's not too far for us. It'll be about a 2-hour drive, and we didn't want to make it so that they'd have a really long drive, so it's about the same for them. With the little chap, we didn't feel like it would be fair to expect them to have a long journey. And actually it's somewhere that we really like. It's a really lovely part of the world anyway, and we don't go there as often as we'd probably quite like to. So yeah, we're heading there on my birthday, so we'll have a nice evening together when we get there, so that will be quite a nice way to spend my birthday anyway, spending it with my family, or part of my family. So that's as much of a birthday present as I would ever ask for, is to spend time with my family. It's all I ever want, really. Although I would never turn down a gift. If they decide they want to buy me something, I don't mind. But it'd be just lovely to spend the time with them. So I wasn't really expecting to use as much of the glue stick, but I think with lace you can use it. It's what I used for the fabrics as well. Just looking for my top for this. Okay, so we've got a nice lacy snippet here, and then I think when it's all dry and I've been able to sew it, I will come back and we'll just finish decorating it. So what I might do is do a little bit more. How are we doing for time? I'll see if I can do something with some of these clusters and finish the ones off that I started making, because they're a bit bigger. And then I might just leave the video for an hour or something, let this dry, and then come back and finish. I think that would be nice to finish that off in this video, wouldn't it? So I'll just put this aside, see if I can put it somewhere to dry. Okay, so I've left my snippet roll just drying over there by the sewing machine, ready to be sewn down the middle. So I've got my clusters here. Pretty much all of these don't need anything. This is another one I pulled out. This is actually just some bits of fabric and lace with a wax seal on the top. I don't know if that will go in the journal, but certainly 2 or 3 of these will go in there somewhere. So we might see if we can find a home for those in a moment. Then I've got these, which are bigger ones that I made off camera after I'd sewn in my signatures. So I think this one I will leave as is. Now that it's been sewn on, I'm wishing I'd sewn it a little flatter, because it's got a bit of a bump there, but I quite like it as it is. I don't think I want to cover that up, so I'm going to put that aside and say that's done. So we just need to find a little something to put on these, and I have pulled out a couple of bits I think will work. So this is a piece from the Medieval Mirage kit, one of the little ephemera pieces, and I just thought I might just put that on there. I think that works really well. So I think that's what I'd like to do on this one. Get in a little finish. You can still see that lovely embroidered flower behind. So let's just glue that on. And that one is done. So this one did get sewn. I literally just sewed down this piece of pink lace. So it has been sewn together, but I think it might be some little extra gluing that might be a good idea behind, if there's anywhere that looks like it's a bit loose. In fact, I think I might... Well, I don't know whether I need to trim any more. I was going to trim a little bit off this, but I think I'll leave it for now. So I quite like that one as it is. Just wipe this nozzle a bit. It's getting a bit gloopy. And so that's that one. This one, it's quite decorative as it is, but I have got the stapler here. Maybe I need to do a little bit of extra gluing. What did I do? Trim that bit off. Okay. Get rid of those bits. Okay, so I've got this one, and so what I thought I might try, because I do want to cover up this staple, although it's virtually invisible because of all the stuff around it. I've got this. I don't even remember where I got this piece of pink leafy trim, and I just thought that might be quite nice just down the edge there. I rather like that, so I'm going to snip that off down there. I really need to get some more of that, because I think that's really pretty. So it's got a bit twisted. It does twist, but I'm just going to glue that on, I think. put that down the side here, and I think that will just finish that off a little bit. I've done that the wrong way, now I've twisted it. That's it, that's the way it needs to be. So I'm just going to get it off my fingers. Okay. So I've got that. I'm just trying to decide if I need a little something here to cover up the staple anyway. Oops. Trying to get all the glue off my fingers before otherwise everything will just stick. We all know how that goes. Got a few little bits and pieces here. Little trims and things. I've got these ones I bought from Shabby Dabby Doodah. Like a little flower with a crystal in the middle. I thought I might just put that on there. Let's just try it. And cover up my staple, and it looks like it's possibly a flower with this pink leaf. I think I will put that there. It's not very visible, but that's okay. It just is a little extra embellishment, and it covers up the staple. There we are. Go on there like that. Okay, there's that one. That gave me more trouble than I expected. And then this one with the bit of doily, which again I think I need to glue down a bit more. This one does have a bit of the white showing, but I don't mind it on this one for some reason. And at the bottom, I think it's probably a good idea to do this bit of gluing before I add my extra embellishment. Glue that down. Put a bit of glue for the doily. I think this is going to be okay. Whoops, she says, and then the doily just pops up on for no reason at all. It got stuck to my finger, so it wasn't quite as firmly attached as I hoped. There we are. I think that should be okay. So I've got this blue wax seal that I thought would really go well, and that will go nicely over the staple. So I'm going to put that on, and that'll finish that one off. So I don't want to spend too much time with these clusters, because I do want to come back and finish my snippet roll in this video. So I'll just see if I can find a quick home for maybe a couple. But some of these I'm going to use to embellish the pockets, which I haven't even pulled out yet. Some of the pockets from the kit. So let's see. Let's get the journal out again and see if there's anywhere obvious for any of these clusters. Mainly these bigger ones, because as I say, I think the smaller ones are going to be possibly used on the pockets. That's another big one. So let's see if there's anywhere I feel I want to add one of these clusters. Well, I have got this pocket here. Actually, I'm wondering if that would go on there. That might look nice, I think. Yeah, I have kind of just pulled it a little bit, but I think it's okay. I wonder if, just wondering whether to put this behind it. This is a piece of, a little bit of pink velvet ribbon. I thought if I had that behind it, that might just kind of finish it off, mightn't it? Put that there. Yeah, I think so. That's what I'm going to do with this one. Across there. Alright, that's on there. Any more? I'm thinking this piece of music, I might put some of my snippet roll down here. That's what I want for there. Still keep feeling like this needs a bit more, but I can only decorate it so much. I think I've got to stop. So I definitely could put something on here. Maybe that would be quite nice there. I'll leave that there as an option. This is my lacy pocket here. And there's that in the middle. And there's this one. I think maybe this is a bit plainer. Maybe this is somewhere that could do with a bit of something. I like that there more because I like the rose, picking up the roses over here. So I think that's where I'm going to put that one. That's a decision made. Just over the edge there. I like that. I like that very much. I think it's my favourite one. And I really like it on there. Okay. Never think to use clusters. Well, hardly ever. I've sort of rediscovered them. Right, so that one again, I think I'll have some of the snippet roll. I'll do something different on this pocket, I think. Maybe snippet roll. What about this one? Does that go on there? Or would the blue one look good on there? Because the blue in the background. No, I think the pink would be better. Alright, so we'll just put that there for a minute. Oh yes. So we're definitely going to have snippet roll down here. Just wondering if some of the, whether that needs a little something. I'll be a bit hefty with the snippet roll on this side as well. I might just do something, whoops, not there. I might just do something else there, I'm not sure yet. Let's go to the other side. Somewhere else where a bit of blue would be good. Yeah. I do quite like that there, I think. I know that we've got this. And I still think I would like that there. And then we'll put something a bit lighter on that flap. Not a snippet roll, but something a little bit decorative, but not as heavy going. Probably just a bit of lace or a bit of trim. Something like that. So it won't be as heavy. Just on the edge there. I like it. And then this will still open out. This will have something on there, but not too heavy. And then we've got this really pretty cluster there. So I think that other spot that I found for the my other cluster here, rather going to be there. I don't think I want it on the other piece of straw paper, if I can find it. Where is that? Is that nearer the back? Yeah. Yeah, would look good there too. Now it's quite close to this one, so I think I need to spread them out a bit more. And I can put something else there. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this on here. Maybe further down. So I'll just position it kind of in the middle there. So we've still got the little flowers either side. Just a little bit, not quite so. Yeah, I've just got that little bit of fabric showing. Not too much. Right, so that's our clusters that I've made. I've found a spot in the journal. So I will I will sew my snippet roll and I'll come back to finish it off. Okay, so it's the next morning. It's a lovely bright sunny morning. It got a bit late after I'd sewn the snippet roll, which I have now done, sewn it down. In fact, I went down it 3 times just to make sure it caught everything in. By the time I'd done that, it was a bit too late to come back and film, so I thought, well, I'll just carry on this morning. So I now have this lovely long piece. It may or may not be long enough for what I want to do, but we'll make a start. And I thought, rather than decorating it and then sticking it in the journal, I'd decorate it as I put it in, so I got things where they need to be. And in the orientation, because sometimes I might want it vertically and have things on it that way up, but other times I might want to put it that way and put things in that way round. So let's just dive in, because I know I did already say I wanted to put some along the edge of this music paper just to cheer it up a bit, make it look a little bit finished, more pretty. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll just cut it. I think I might use my old fabric scissors. I know they are my old fabric scissors. The ones I had out already were my old ones. Because I'm cutting... I'm not cutting paper, am I? No. I was thinking I was cutting it on a paper background, but I'm not. So I better use my sharper ones in that case. Sorry, I thought I'd got these out already, but I got the other ones out. Right, so that's going to go there. let me just see if I've got enough to do any more. So I've got enough to do one, or at least 2 more vertical ones, so that's all right. Even 3, but I don't think 4 altogether. But I don't know if I want to do 4. And if I use it up and I need some more, I'll make some more. Always fun to do. So there's definitely more that can go on here. It looks a little bit bare around here. So I might just put a little bit more lace just because I like it. So I'm just thinking, what do we need? Just a little bit more. And I'll just have to glue it on now this time. I had in mind what I wanted to grab. Now I can't see it. So what can I use? A piece of this. That's quite pretty. Stop mixing up my scissors. I love this one. That's a really pretty lace, so that's going on there. So as we know, we're going vertically. I've got a few things I'd like to put on, so I'm just going to pop that there just because it looked a little bit bare around here. And I will use this still because it seems to have really held well even before I sewed it on. The glue was holding really well, so I'm just going to kind of put it on like that just to fill that little spot. Right, so what I would like to use on some of these vertical ones are my little envelopes with letters in. It was a freebie kit, or freebie, I think it was 2 pages. So one page has got all the envelopes just to cut around and fold them up, and you end up with these cute little tiny envelopes like this. And then there were the tiny little letters to go in them. They've all got one in, so this one's got a little folded up letter inside it. Look, isn't that sweet? Lovely little letter in there. And I printed some kind of coffee dyed, background dyed papers, like a digital on the back, so that it looks old on both sides. And these all been inked around. And I can't get it back in. They're so teeny tiny. But actually what I want to do is not have it completely in, but having it just poking out a little bit as though it's been read. So now I can't get it back in. Just catching where the envelope is. So what I thought I could do is just have a couple of these. And this one I've done a bit differently, and I don't know if I'm going to use this one because they come like this and you close them up or not, so they've got the flap. So what I did with this one, I glued it down and tore it across the top as though it had been opened with a letter opener, a bit roughly and a bit fast, because she was eager to find out what was inside. So it's kind of got a bit tall. I mean, a lot of our junk mail envelopes look a bit like this, don't they, around the top where we've torn it open. And that way you can actually get at the little letter inside. This one, I think I'd have to put it in a pocket because what I've done, the letter, it's still got the letter inside, but I put a little closure on it. But I don't want to then glue it down like this because then you couldn't get at it. And if I glue it like this on this side, then you lose all this lovely decoration on that side. So I think I'll use, maybe I'll only do one on here. But I've got a few, and I'll show you how I did this because this was completely plain. I was just playing around, seeing what I could do to make it look as though it was an envelope. So I'm going to do that, and then I've got a few little trimmy bits that I could add. So I'm going to cut a few pieces off and just see what I can do just to make it look more decorative. Little blue ones. They're slightly different. I don't know where They must have come from different places. I think these ones may have come from Shabby Dabby Doodah, and I think these ones may have come from Temu. I know I got a few from Temu. And what else have we got here? I've got a wax seal. I've got some little crochet flowers that I bought when I was away on my retreat. A few little bits. I don't want anything too heavy on here because we've got the envelope, so that would be probably quite enough. So I quite like these little tiny blue ones just dotted about. I've got one of these. Maybe I could put that up here. Put that on there. And maybe something small. I'll put one of these on here. Kind of down there. Don't know if that would look. I kind of like that. Anything else? Or maybe this little bit of blue trim. Just check where it's going in the journal. See if the blue would look strange in that spot where the. So I think the blue would work quite well because we've got the blue lace here. So I think that would look fine. I don't know if I want this. I don't know if I want that one. Got this bit of pink. Yeah, maybe it's a bit of pink, but I'm going to take this edge off. It's actually warming up quite a lot in here this morning. It was a lot cooler yesterday, and the last couple of days have been a bit cooler. But I can feel the heat coming through my window behind the blind. Right, I think I'm going to put those bits on. Right, let's see. That looks lovely. Really pleased with that. Let's put that on our music paper and see how it looks now. Where did it go? There it is. And now we've got a little something to look at on here because we've got a little letter to pull out. A little piece of little interactive piece. So I'm just going to glue that on. Okay, loving that. Like these little envelopes. So I thought I'd just show you how I did these. I don't know if I'll have time to put any more in today in this video because I hadn't got a lot of time left by the time I'd done everything else. So I'll just show you these little envelopes and what we could do with them. I say they are a freebie on the Rach and Bella website, and it was part of their collaboration a few months ago. So you might have to, well, they have in their website they have a page, a tab for freebies. So you'd be able to find these little envelopes, and they're just all on a page, and you just cut them out, fold them up, and they're so sweet. And then you've got the little letters to go with them. So I thought, well, let's excuse me. So this one has already got a bit of decoration on there. So but it's really pretty on this side, so it's really hard to know. So this sort of thing I'd probably want to pop in a pocket because I'd want to show both sides. So that one, we could do our little closure like this. I wasn't sure how to do a closure the other day on these because they're so tiny, but all I did was to take a piece of, I had it, there we are, just a little scrap of paper from one of the kits. I backed it onto some book page just to give it a little bit more, make it a little firmer, and just cut a strip. I don't think this one actually would work on here because it's not enough for contrast like it is on this one. So what else can I use? I've got this piece of blue, which I think would work quite well. So let's put that one on. Now just glue it onto a bit of book page. Put a little something in the middle as well if you wanted to. Oh, I've just had a thought of what I could put. What am I doing? I need that there, don't I? So it doesn't really matter where you stick it. It's bigger than I need. I'm just cutting just little scraps so I can just cut it to the size I want. So it does only need to be quite narrow. So I think I'll cut it to about there. Go round. How long do I want it? This one was about the right size, so I'll cut it to about there. Snip off the little corners. And then I can just put it, and I literally just did, oh sorry, I'm just going to put the top on this glue. A little tiny bit, just a little dab of glue each end. And put it there. So these little envelopes are just going to need tucked into little tuck spots on pockets. It goes in over across there, so that'll just pop in and out like that. And because it's plain, I was thinking, what can I put in the middle to make it look a little bit more interesting? And I've just had a thought. I'll be right back. Yeah, I've got a whole load of these enamel dots that I tend to never use. I give them to Alyssa to play with. She loves playing with these, but I thought I'd see if she'd left me any. And I'm just trying to find the right colour. I'm thinking that possibly this one, because it picks out the pink here, I think. If I can get it off the sheet. I've had a gazillion of these over the years when I was scrapbooking. That one there. Oh, I like that there. I think that works very nicely. Alright, so maybe I've finally found a use for these little enamel dots, and I've got so many more. But not as many as I used to have, because Alyssa has played with them quite a lot, and that's fine. That's what some of the things that I don't use anymore, it's lovely that she actually plays with them now. I feel like they're not wasted. Right, so I've got that one finished. Now, that's that one. And then the other one that I did was the one where I added, that I used, where I did the little stamp and everything. So I used my little stamp set that I bought a long time ago from Amazon, and it has these little teeny tiny bits on them that I've never used because they're so tiny, but they're perfect for this. So it's like a little stamp, that one. So I used that, and I'm going to use it again. Let's see, which one shall I do it on? This one. Sorry, I didn't fold it very well, and I folded it, inked it, and then I had it in the wrong spot. So I think I might do a bit more inking on there just to try and disguise that a bit. Could always put a little bit of extra decoration on there actually, couldn't we? Okay, let's just do this one. So I've got to seal it up. Seal it up just along the edges. So just leave that end a bit open because I've got to try and get my scissors in along there. Okay, so just try and seal it there. And then I get my little scissors and kind of hack at it really. That's what we want, as though you've torn it open with a letter opener in a bit of a hurry. Can't wait to get into it, so you've just kind of torn at it, and it's going to be a little bit. So this is the front. Just tear it a bit here, a bit here, and sort of rough it up a bit. This bit needs gluing back down again because that's not quite the bit we want open there. Just want it open along the top. So, yeah. Yeah, just be a bit rough with it. Torn open there. And get the ink on it. Give it a good old rough up. Okay. So we've still got our little letter in there. Just poking out like that. And what I want to do, I want to make a little stamp with my stamps and postmarks and things. So I've got my little stamp. Right, I'm going to stamp it onto this so it's got a nice dark background. And pop it there. Oh, it didn't come out very well. Let's do it again. Don't think I actually put enough ink on it. That's better. Right, yeah. So I just took some scraps out of my scrap box and see what colours would look good as stamps. So tiny. Yeah, that's going to show up nicely on there, so I'm going to just glue that on. Put that there. Lovely, perfect size. And then I've got a couple of little postmarky bits. So I've got this circular one. A lot of these small things I've never used because they're so tiny. I'm going to stamp it off a couple of times because I don't want it too dark, this postmark. There we go, that's nice and pale. And this one's got the little lines. So again, I'm stamping it off a couple of times, so I just get a little imprint. There we go. And then On the other one I've got this little stamp here which I could put there as an address, or I might just try, and I hope I'm not going to ruin it, but I have got my Kaisercraft script stamp, and I might just put a little tiny touch of script on there as though that's the address. That's my theory. So I don't need a lot. Don't even know if I've got that up the right way. It's really hard to tell. Nope, that's the right way. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp that off again on my glue pad, on my glue book. And just do a little bit here. So it looks a little bit like a bit of handwriting, just a tiny little bit. So that's that little stamp. And because I've made a mess here, where I folded it wrong, I think I'm going to put a little something across there. Okay. I'm just putting that there because I messed up on the folding, so I didn't like the way that ended up looking. So let's just finish that off. But that's a lovely little envelope to stick onto our snippet roll when we come to putting them in the journal. So I will carry on doing in the next video. Try and be more coherent, woman. I will carry on doing this in the next video. I shall probably carry on and make the next video while I've still got everything out and around me. But you'll see it next week. So thank you so much for joining me. And I will see you soon. Bye for now.